In today's video, what creates the difference between just losing weight and just losing fat?
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. In today's video, I'm going to be addressing a question about fat loss versus weight loss. And if you enjoy this type of content, if you're looking to improve your physique, well, hit the subscribe button. And if you like the video, hit like. I guess that helps the algorithm. That's what they say. But today's video comes from my Instagram direct message. So I'm going to put my Instagram on the screen here. Give me a follow, send me a direct message like the message I'm about to post, and maybe I'll answer your question. So today's question is just that, a great one. It's about weight loss versus fat loss. And the question specifically addresses why do people who enter a physique competition get shredded and people who just try to lose weight, well, they just get skinny. And I want to address it because I feel like it's a very valid question. I tend to speak to, be around, coach a very specific population of people. They find me because, well, they've seen my transformations, they've seen my clients, and they know that I myself am a competitor. Well, that's a very different approach to getting leaner than just losing weight. And oftentimes, whether it's through doctors or whether it's through, finding a fat loss plan online, the approach to typical weight loss is to really just focus on that scale and just be focused on that rapid fat loss transformation. Hey, good job, I lost 10 pounds this week. But did you really lose 10 pounds? You see, there's the number that's most closely reflected on the scale is going to be fluids. And a lot of these examples of fat loss diets that are rapid fat loss protocols, you're actually just losing water weight. And while it can be motivating to see the number on the scale go down, it's going to negatively impact you long term if that's all you focus on. If you're only focused on the number on the scale and you actually get intimidated by muscle and you get intimidated by the scale going up, or you can get intimidated by lifting heavy, well, you're at risk for long-term health complications. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, to answer your question, what is the biggest difference? Well, it's quite clearly the fact that we are entering a physique competition where muscle is a requirement. Therefore, we are putting a very high priority on our training. Most people that enter a physique competition aren't so worried about the scale. In fact, most of them don't want the scale to go down. They would prefer to keep the scale higher. Whereas someone who's only interested in weight loss, they get attached to the number on the scale, right? If we go out and we run a marathon and we eat 500 calories a day, probably gonna lose a lot of weight. But along the way, we're probably gonna lose a lot of lean body mass. We're going to really have an adapted metabolism. And when that marathon is over, or when that 90-day transformation is over, and when you've been eating 500 calories for months on end, what tends to happen is we go back to our normal routine, we go back to our normal life and put on weight rapidly. And it's not good weight. I've documented this in my other videos. Our bodies have a set point. That number tends to be associated with an overall body mass. Now that body mass can be made up of either fat or lean tissue, okay? So someone that has more lean tissue, obviously they're gonna be lower body fat because their mass might be equal. Two people that weigh the same but look very differently, right? So when we lose lean body mass, our set point isn't gonna be reached until we come back up to that same weight. But if you get to that same weight with more body fat and less muscle, well, you're gonna get in a worse position. And you repeat this cycle a few times and you can see how that works. Whereas those of us that decide to enter a physique competition, or in the very least focus on resistance training a few days per week while going through a fat loss plan, we're going to retain lean body mass. Now, the numbers might not be as sexy on the scale. You might not see 5, 10, 15 pounds every couple weeks coming off the scale. However, instead of that, we can focus on inches coming off, actual measurable body fat coming off, our clothes fitting differently. If you're too attached to the number on the scale, you might miss the fact that you look better in the mirror. You might miss the fact that your clothes are fitting you better, that your face looks better, okay? There are indicators of a change in body composition. This is the goal of a physique athlete. And of course it comes down to paying attention to your nutrition and training throughout the process of fat loss. While it can be very exciting to go on a rapid fat loss protocol, ultra low calories, lots of cardio, very exciting to get things moving and you build that momentum, You need to be educating yourself during that process, because once it's over, that's when the real scary part happens. The body fat regain, going back to your typical lifestyle. So if you plan to undertake a rapid fat loss protocol like this, you need to be focusing on educating yourself about what's going to happen when it ends, how to come out of it, how to perhaps focus on putting on lean body mass, making sure you're doing some resistance training, making sure you're eating calories that are going to help you with your goals, focusing on things like protein, high quality carbohydrates like nuts and grains and vegetables and fruits. Things like this need to be the basis of our diets, okay? This is going to allow us to create a sustainable approach to dieting. So hopefully this helped you. If you guys have a question, please let me know below, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.